A Childcare Job Business Guide. Chapter 1. Childcare/Daycare Business and Jobs. Daycare Center/Childcare Worker 1. You can either work for a daycare center or run your own daycare business from home. You have to get licensed by the State Daycare Licensing Board. They will probably inspect the daycare facilities for safety, cleanliness, the food you serve, etc. You need the patience to deal with 5 or more kids all day long. You have to be sure there is a demand in your area where people are willing to pay the price you set per week. Set the price based on what others charge in your area. Find out their prices by calling, posing as a customer and asking what they charge, or look up local daycare centers on the internet. Get customers by advertising. Simply go around your neighborhood putting flyers in mailboxes. Get an ad in the yellow pages. Put an ad in the newspaper. Put signs up on bulletin boards, on the internet and on your home if it's allowed. Some municipalities won't allow signs in residential districts. This would be your best way to advertise. Put a sign up stating that you are a commercial daycare center. Market yourself by networking at local organizations like the church, the baseball league, etc. There are referral agencies who will send potential customers your way for a fee. They check your daycare out before they take you on as a client. Parents won't automatically hand their children over to you. They will be cautiously checking you out. This is where licensing helps with strangers as opposed to being unlicensed and caring for a few kids whose parents you know. You have to play up to them. It's as though they're interviewing you for the job of caring for their kids. This is why you need a brochure or piece of paper stating your code of regulations as described below. You need a daily schedule that's a mix of fun, education, rest, play, music and art. Be safety conscious. Be health conscious. Keep the area clean. Make all kids wash their hands after using the bathroom. There are special needs children around. You don't have to care for them if you are not equipped to nor have the expertise. In a big city, you could specialize in one group of special needs kids, deaf, blind, autistic, cerebral palsy, etc. Or you could state that you specialize in special needs/disabled kids in general. If you see signs of abuse in one of the kids, it's your obligation to report it to the police. If your business gets going good, you can set up a new daycare in a building that's not your house. It is a business, so you're trying to make money. This means you have to watch your expenses. Spending money on kids can spiral out of control. You have to be frugal while providing a happy, safe environment. If you run an unlicensed daycare, which is a situation where you look after a few kids to make a few extra bucks, you're sunk if something happens to one of the kids and you get sued. If you play it straight, you'll get licensed by the state licensing board, buy business insurance and either get a lawyer and/or a copy of state daycare regulations and abide by them. You will pay taxes on the business. For information about businesses in general, either refer to my business book or go to number 658 at the library. Parents are very picky. They want meticulous care. If you're not a people person, don't get into this business. If you hire people, get them checked out so that they're not convicted sex offenders, because if they are, you could be held liable for what they do. To play it completely safe, you can either set up video cameras or web cameras on your place of operations so everything that happens is recorded. The best way is to charge people for the week in advance, payable before you provide the service. Once you provide the service and they decide not to pay you, you have no recourse because there's no product to take back. The best you can do is file a civil lawsuit, which is often a waste of time because even if you win, chances are that you won't recover the lost fee. Don't give anybody any credit. If somebody wants it, just tell them that you learned from experience that it's not a wise thing to do. They either pay you now or you don't provide the service. The general rule of thumb is the younger the kid, the more expensive the fee. 3 to 5-year-olds generally cost less than 1 to 3-year-olds. If a parent brings in more than one kid, the fee gets progressively lower for each succeeding child. It might be $400 a week for one child, $300 for child 2 and $200 for child 3 for a total of $900 for the 3 kids. You have to be there at least 5 days a week, regardless of how you feel. You also have to be open long enough so that a parent can drop a kid off, work an 8-hour day then come pick the kid up. You're talking about 10-hour days. There's an afternoon nap time but it's still a long day. Some parents want daycare on weekends and holidays. If some parents are paying by the week and a holiday happens to fall on a weekday, they want their 5 days worth. Either charge less if you take that day off or offer daycare on that day. Parents can be habitually late in picking up their kids. You should charge a late fee, either $10 for every 15 minutes they're late or $1 per minute. If parents pay for a week, that money is not refundable regardless of whether they come or not. Get your daycare listed in all the national daycare organizations and websites listed below. This will be free advertising for you. Set up your own code of regulations which covers such things as rates, payment options, time of operation, days of operation, the age group you care for, the number of children there, how you deal with illness or injury, field trips, if applicable. What mode of transportation will you use, your car, taxi or a bus? Your discipline style. Who your employees are, if applicable. What you will provide, what parents will provide. Visiting times for parents. Web camera option. Can parents come in for a while to play with their kids? Who does the parent authorize to release the child to? Emergency procedures. Type of food you provide. Trial period for you, in case the child is unmanageable. What happens if you get sick? Daycare Center/Childcare Worker 2. Contact your local licensing agency to find out about the laws governing in-home daycares. Some states will allow you to watch another family member's child or children without becoming licensed. Others require that you take classes in first aid and pass a background check. Check with your homeowner's insurance to see what they offer in the way of coverage. Caring for one additional child may not be that hard, but taking care of several children can certainly be a full-time, financially successful business. Often, taking care of several children is made somewhat easier as the youngsters will play together and keep busy. You can do this at home for only a small investment in basic equipment and toys for the kids, in addition to the advertising of your business. Insurance could be expensive, but you can make a steady income off it. Home care providers are often regulated just as daycare centers are. Call and talk with the local agency of Family and Children Services. They can advise you on the licensing or registration requirements you will be expected to follow. These requirements cover such things as how many children you may have in your care, how much space you need for each child, and appropriate meals and snacks. They also offer classes in childcare and development that you may want or may be required to attend. By registering with Family and Children Services and following their recommendations, you can gain added credibility with your new clients. While planning a home daycare service, you should do your own survey of what daycare options are currently available in your area. Charge by the day or week. Rates run between $150 and $200 per month per child. Profitable daycare centers are more than glorified babysitting services. Mothers want the best for their children, hence are demanding the structured preschool education and learning stimulation offered by modern daycare centers. Even though there seems to be a trend for many large companies to finance and operate daycare centers for their employees in or close by their factories or office buildings, studies show that most working parents prefer to leave their children closer to home than where they work. Thus, privately operated daycare centers in residential neighborhood areas should not worry too much about competition from the few company-operated daycare centers. There are a lot of daycare centers operating with full enrollments of 35 to 65 children just barely breaking even. This is generally the result of regulations imposed by the state government, causing exorbitant overhead costs of operation. Check with your state and local government regulatory agencies. Many states require daycare centers to provide a minimum area per child, both inside and outside the building, plus at least one hot meal per day. A licensed teacher for every 15 to 20 children and even a licensed nurse on the premises may be required. Be sure to know the regulations in your area and then design your business plan to meet these regulations. Insurance will be several $100s a year. You can begin by operating a babysitting service and build from there. Once you're beyond the babysitting stage, begin to build a real daycare facility. You might use your home or you might try locating in your church or one of your area's civic club facilities. You should check out the possibilities of renting or buying a vacant house. A ranch-style home with a large backyard would probably suit your needs at this stage, but be sure you have zoning approval from your city council before signing a rent lease and finalizing your plans. You might find, if you have your business plan in order, that a church or labor union will sponsor your business or even offer financial backing. Arranging some sort of partnership or sponsorship agreement with an established local organization will solve a lot of problems for you, not only in the area of space but in assistance with startup costs and city approval. Depending on your city sign ordinances and your finances, go all out with your sign. Advertise the name of your daycare center, the hours you're open, whether you accept drops, overnighters, or weekenders, and of course, your phone number. The sign makers and advertising people may strongly advise you against so much wording on your sign, but in this instance don't listen to them. Your sign should state all essential information and serve to convince passers-by that you can handle their child care problems whenever the need arises. If you initially locate in or through the sponsorship of a church or labor union, these people can assist you tremendously by including a mention of your services in their membership bulletins and by passing out circulars or flyers. Your church is also a good place to advertise. You could even set up a Christian daycare with Bible stories, prayers, etc. You'll need to decide on your regular daycare hours. Generally, these are from 6 a.m. through 7 p.m. You'll also need to decide whether you want to offer breakfast for the children. If so, you'll have to plan for a cook and food supplies for morning meals. You'll already be set up with kitchen facilities and a cook because you will be serving a noon meal. If you do decide to offer breakfast for those parents not wanting to feed their children at home, you'll be able to add $8 to $12 per week to their billing. By buying your food supplies in bulk, you'll probably be able to realize some savings in overall food costs. Mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks are required in some states, but even where they're not required, they are pretty much standard fare in most daycare centers. Fresh fruit, cookies, and juice are the usual snack foods served in most daycare centers. You'll definitely be providing a hot meal for the children at noon. This entails a cook, dishes, planned menus, food supplies in bulk, and perhaps even small-size table and chairs. You'll also have to have kitchen help and facilities for washing the dishes. These are just some of the important overhead costs you must plan for, and of course you will work to keep them as low as possible. As you should know by now, the greater your overhead, the more children you're going to have to take in, and the more children you take in, the greater your space requirements. All profitable daycare centers operate according to planned routines. The day is broken down into 1-hour segments, with pre-planned curriculum, much the same as classes at a public school. A typical day begins with a play period from whenever the children arrive until about 9 o'clock. For this, you'll need indoor sandboxes, toys, and perhaps a family-sized television set. From 9 to 10, the children are separated into groups generally by ages, and you hold a reading or storytelling session. The mid-morning snack time is scheduled sometime between 10 to 11. For the younger children, this might include a mid-morning nap. After snack time, a learning session is usually held. Typically, this is the time when guests are invited in to speak or entertain the children. Work with your Chamber of Commerce, civic clubs, and city administration for guests. Children will especially enjoy visits by policemen, firemen, and others who talk to them about citizenship, show films, and teach them about the things they do in the community. You can also get upperclassmen at your local colleges to visit and demonstrate such things as drawing, working with clay, building with wood, making things out of paper, and hundreds of other talents or skills they might be learning. The important thing is to bring outsiders in to talk to the kids about what goes on in their world. It makes it easy on you. The TV is also a good filler. Noon to 1 o'clock is generally lunchtime, and from 1 until 2 is another learning session. During this afternoon learning session, you might offer the rudiments of reading, writing and arithmetic. These teaching chores can be handled by college students studying to be teachers, retired teachers, or unemployed persons with teaching certificates. It's not so much a session to teach proficiency as a time to stimulate interest in formal education. The basic goal of most daycare centers is to instill within each child a desire to learn more about the world in which he lives. Reading, puzzles and drawing are also good, cheap fillers. About once a week, your afternoon learning session should be a tour or a trip to some place that might be interesting as well as educational for the children. Again, you're making the idea of learning not only interesting but an exciting adventure as well. These trips can be anything from a walk in your immediate neighborhood to loading all the kids into cars or onto buses and taking them to the zoo. Check it out first, but on the whole, you'll find most businesses in your area will welcome opportunities to show the children around their offices or factories. The same thing quite naturally applies to your city offices, fire department, police department, and radio or television stations. On days when you don't have a trip scheduled, your learning session might be a film or program related to nature, particularly animals. The advent of the VCR has opened endless possibilities in this area. Nap time and snack time will fill a period for younger ones, and books and quiet games will occupy older children who do not take a nap. When the nap period is over, they're allowed to play until their parents come by to pick them up. Whenever possible, you should encourage the children to be outside during play periods. If you have lots of playground equipment, you won't necessarily always have to have organized games, but you will have to have a playground supervisor, someone to watch the children and see that they don't get hurt as they play. You can hire part-time help for this chore, perhaps from the local colleges for minimum wage. If your city ordinances do not cover the specific age requirements of a playground supervisor, you might be able to hire students from your neighborhood high school. Select all the people you hire relative to their affinity with children and their dependability. Beware of today's climate of extreme concern in protecting children in daycare situations. Your playground will require a fenced-in area. Drive around and look at the playground equipment in the play yards of your public schools and at daycare centers in your area. You should have the basic sandboxes, swings, slides and jungle gyms, but in this area you can be creative and original, provided your equipment meets safety standards. Some states require that you have a registered nurse on the premises, but generally, the main things needed are medical information from the parents and a written procedure to follow in case of accident or illness. Basically, when a child is injured or becomes ill, you should take him to the nearest medical center, while another staff person gets in touch with the parents and explains what happened. If the parent cannot be present at the medical center, all information should be passed on to him/her immediately it is available. It's a good idea to have all your helpers indoctrinated with basic Red Cross first aid knowledge and have a well-equipped first aid kit on the premises. As for any requirements relative to a full-time nurse, you should be able to hire registered nurses who are either not working or looking for extra income. You might be able to hire the license of a registered nurse. You pay a small fee to hang her license in your office and she agrees to be available to serve your needs when you call. If you do not receive pay in advance, you can very quickly get in the red. I've seen some daycare centers charge well over $100 a week. By having your customers pay in advance, you'll eliminate a lot of bookkeeping chores and time, the problems of collections, and you'll have operating funds with which to run the business. If you ask for monthly payments, offer $20 off from the weekly fees. The director should have an empathy with people, be an excellent judge of people, be sales-oriented and have an outgoing personality. As much as anything else, this person must have the ability to listen to and really hear what other people are saying without the influence of preconceived opinions or making snap decisions. When a prospective client calls to ask you about your services, you should explain how you operate and emphasize your invitation for them to bring their child in so that the two of them can be taken for a tour of your facilities. Once in the center, you take the parent and child on a tour, all the while explaining to parent the advantages of the center's structured learning and play program as compared with everyday run-of-the-mill babysitting services. It's important to have the child along because as he sees the other children at play, he will be drawn to them, and this will greatly influence the parent in deciding that your center is the right place for his child. After the tour, steer the parent back into your administrative office and propose enrollment of the child. Begin by asking where the parent works, what hours, and if he or she ever has to work overtime. You then ascertain the hours they'll want to drop off and pick up their child. Strict procedures are absolutely essential regarding the pickup of any child. Frightening as it may be to contemplate, we have all read accounts of strangers, or non-custodial parent, kidnapping a child. Printed forms must be provided and authorization signatures must be compared when anyone other than the legal guardian takes a child from your care. You will learn these requirements from your licensing office. You should have a slickly printed, quality brochure showing your rates, your services, an outline of the curriculum and a statement of your benefit goals for the children. Check with a legally qualified person about the need for a contract. The parent will probably simply fill out a questionnaire file card giving address, place of employment, medical information about the child and place he or she may be reached in case of emergency. Most daycare centers accept all children between 2 and 6 years of age, and there are many nowadays who take infants from 6 weeks. Of course, your personnel in this situation will be thoroughly oriented in infant care, and you must ascertain if these babies are well when brought into you. Otherwise, you put yourself in the position of hospital care instead of daycare. You may want to allow the children to bring their own blanket from home for nap time, but if you allowed toys from home, you could be opening Pandora's box of possible problems relating to sharing and ownership. In light of this, you will want a full complement of appropriate toys and play items in your center. Buy cheap toys at your local thrift stores. If you decide to include short-term babysitting services, a good idea would be to include within the layout of your facilities a small one-bedroom apartment for a live-in or couple. An older retired couple would be ideal, with the husband serving also as maintenance and handyman. Around-the-clock babysitting services, in addition to your regular daycare center, can add tremendous and immediate cash flow profits to your business but correspondingly increase your payroll for qualified personnel. Such services would enable the parents to drop their children off in the evening and leave them around the clock or over the weekend. There will generally be no need for any planned program because these children will be sleeping during most of the time they're in your care. As you establish the image and reputation of your daycare center, the parents in your area will be much more inclined to leave their children with you for babysitting duties. The demand for unplanned or emergency babysitting services is large. Not too many daycare centers are aware of this potential for extra profits yet, but the ones that are find that their incomes can increase by 30% or more. Another area that could mean enhanced profits for you is bus or van pickup service for the children. Of course, this would increase your operating costs, and consequently your fees, but the convenience of pickup is gaining in popularity. You'll need a custodian for indoor and outdoor cleanup, and if you have access to a bus or van, he could be assigned additional duties as the driver. Some daycare centers offering pickup service for their children contract with local transportation services to provide this service. Be certain of the driving experience of your driver if you contract for this transportation service. Most daycare centers open with little fanfare or advertising. Generally, even without advertising, most are reporting 90% capacity enrollment within 6 months. With grand opening fanfare and a strong advertising campaign, you should be able to be at 90% capacity within your first 6 weeks. In an area where a severe shortage of daycare facilities exists, and with the right advertising and promotion, even sooner. Your first step should be the door-to-door, hand-out distribution of a quality informative brochure. To save on costs, you can hire students attending advertising classes in your area colleges or even a freelance advertising copywriter to help you with the design and writing of this brochure. However, the bottom line should be that you have a good commercial printer do the printing on the best paper you can afford. All of this has to do with the image you are wanting to create and the quality of the service the buyers feel they're getting for the prices you are charging. Don't skimp on your brochure, you're aiming at people looking for the best place for their children. You should place at least a 2-column by 4-inch grand opening display ad in your local newspapers. At the same time, you should place similar ads in the local magazines and other publications catering to the working mother. Send along a group picture of your staff and a story about your services with your advertising order. Phone the editors at your local newspapers, radio, and TV stations and invite them out to your grand opening. Be sure to place a service information ad in the yellow pages of your telephone directory. This should be the largest size you can afford. And remember that you need to make contact for a yellow page ad well in advance of the release date of the directory. After your grand opening and until you attain full capacity, continue to hand out your brochures at the entrances to the office buildings which house companies employing working mothers. Continue to run ads in your local newspaper, although these ads needn't be quite as large or run as regularly as the grand opening ads. Run an ad in the classified section describing your babysitting services. Daycare Center/Childcare Worker 3. Childcare workers look after young children when parents are at work or cannot be with their children for other reasons. They do many of the things parents do for their children. Those caring for infants and toddlers follow a routine of basic care, feeding, bathing, diapering, playing with and comforting. Those working with older school children, in addition to taking care of their basic needs, plan and carry out programs to stimulate the children's physical, emotional and social growth. Child care workers' duties depend on the setting in which they work. In a large daycare center, they are in charge of groups of children under the supervision of a director who also handles administrative and program development responsibilities. Self-employed child care workers taking care of a small number of children in their own homes, often referred to as family daycare, have sole responsibility for those children. In addition to caring for children, self-employed child care workers are responsible for a safe and clean environment, good nutrition, games, and other activities. Typical duties are greeting children as they arrive, helping them remove outer garments and teaching them how to dress and undress. They may organize and direct indoor and outdoor games and activities or take them on field trips. They may include painting and drawing, working with clay and wood, singing and story reading and telling. They also organize play activities which not only provide physical exercise but teach the children how to get along with each other. Child care workers are concerned with the children's health and nutrition. They serve nutritious meals and snacks and use these as an opportunity to teach the children good eating habits and responsibility for cleaning up after themselves. They see to it that the children have proper rest periods. They spot children who may be getting sick or showing signs of emotional or developmental problems and bring these to the parents' attention. Child care centers may be in private homes, churches, and on premises of universities, businesses or other organizations that provide care for employees' children. Others are in new or remodeled buildings used exclusively for childcare. Child care centers are open year-round. Many are open 12 hours a day. Full-time staff workers usually have 8-hour shifts while many work part-time or have staggered hours. Self-employed child care workers with their own young children can earn money without having to leave them. They have great flexibility in their hours of work and in daily routine. Since they work in their own home, they also are able to handle some housekeeping responsibilities while looking after children. Child care workers must be constantly alert, anticipate and prevent trouble, deal with disruptive children and provide fair but firm discipline. This can be physically and emotionally taxing. The work is demanding and sometimes hectic and requires a great deal of physical stamina. Many centers are non-profit operations, affiliated in some instances with a local or national chain. Others are run by churches, synagogues, community agencies, school systems, and state or local governments. A small number are operated by business firms for the children of their employees. Entry-level positions for child care workers require little or no experience for the most part. Although there are no specific educational requirements, employers prefer individuals with a high school diploma. Some employers provide on-the-job training by an experienced worker. High school students who plan to work with small children should take courses in psychology, sociology, home economics, nutrition, and family living. Courses in art, music, drama, and physical education also provide good preparation. Volunteer or paid babysitting is helpful. Formal training or certification is recommended for individuals who wish to advance. Many 2-year and 4-year colleges offer certificate and associate degree programs in childcare and guidance. Subjects include childhood psychology, play and educational activities. The Child Development Associate, CDA, credential program offers an alternative way toward certification. It stresses on-the-job performance and experience. The program is open to anyone 18 years of age or older. A team of childcare professionals conducts the assessment and decides whether the individual qualifies for the CDA credential. The CDA assessment process may take several months or longer. Childcare workers should like working with small children and be kind and patient. They should be in excellent health since the work requires much energy and physical stamina. Skills in music, art, drama, and storytelling are also important. Those who work for themselves must have good business sense and management abilities. As childcare workers gain experience, they may advance to supervisory or administrative positions in large childcare centers. Often these positions require additional training. Some set up their own childcare business. State departments of human services or social services can supply state regulations and training requirements for childcare workers. Every state has a licensing requirement. Contact your state social services agency for more info. Childcare Service Owner websites. Childcare Aware of America, CCAA. 1515 North Courthouse Road, 3rd floor. Arlington, Virginia 22201-2909. 703-341-4100. USA.childcareaware.org. The National Early Childhood Program Accreditation provides information on credentialing for child care programs. National Early Childhood Program Accreditation, NECPA. PO Box 2948, Merrifield, Virginia 22116-2948. 855-706-3272. NECPA.net. National Head Start Association, NHSA. 1651 Prince Street, Alexandria, Virginia 22314-2818. 866-677-8724. NHSA.org. Office of Child Care. acf.hhs.gov/programs/OCC. Part of the Administration for Children and Families. Find out about your state's regulatory bodies and contact information. Association for Early Learning Leaders, AELL. 8000 Center Park Drive, Suite 170. Austin, Texas 78754-5137. 800-537-1118. info@earlylearningleaders.org. naccp.org. Council for Professional Recognition. 2460 16th Street, NW. Washington, D.C. 20009-3547. 800-424-4310. cdacouncil.org. Center for the Child Care Workforce, American Federation of Teachers, CCW. 555 New Jersey Avenue, NW. Washington, D.C. 20001-2029. 202-662-8005. aft.org/node/10415. National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEC. 1313 L Street, NW, Suite 500. Washington, D.C. 20005-4110. 800-424-2460. naec.org. National Association of Child Care Professionals. POB 90723. Austin, Texas 78709-0723. 800-537-1118. admin@naccp.org. naccp.org. National Childcare Association, NCCA. 1325 G Street, NW, Suite 500. Washington, D.C. 20005-3136. 800-543-7161. info@nccanad.org. nccanad.org. Childcare worker info, job, and career websites. care.com/child-care-jobs. careerbuilder.com. childlife.org/students-interns-educators/academic students/academic program directory.cfm, a list of undergraduate and graduate child life programs. childlife.org/career%20 center. childlife.org/students-interns-educators/internship candidates. American Federation of Teachers, AFT. 555 New Jersey Avenue Northwest. Washington, D.C. 20001-2029. 202-879-4400. aft.org/early childhood. American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP. 141 Northwest Point Boulevard. Elk Grove Village, Illinois 60007-1098. 800-433-9016. aap.org. Association for Early Learning Leaders, AELL. 8000 Center Park Drive, Suite 170. Austin, Texas 78754-5137. 800-537-1118. info@earlylearningleaders.org. naccp.org. Center for the Child Care Workforce, American Federation of Teachers, CCW. 555 New Jersey Avenue, NW. Washington, D.C. 20001-2029. 202-662-8005. aft.org/node/10415, Child Life Council, CLC. 1820 North Fort Myer Drive, Suite 520. Arlington, Virginia 22209-1807. 800-252-4515. clcadmin@childlife.org. childlife.org. Children's Hospital Association, CHA. 600 13th Street, NW, Suite 500. Washington, D.C. 20005-3026. 202-753-5500. childrenshospitals.org. Council for Professional Recognition. 2460 16th Street, NW. Washington, D.C. 20009-3547. 800-424-4310. cdacouncil.org. National Child Care Association, NCCA. 1325 G Street, NW, Suite 500. Washington, D.C. 20005-3136. 800-543-7161. info@nccanad.org. nccanad.org. National Association of Child Care Professionals. PO Box 90723, Austin, Texas 78709-0723. 800-537-1118. admin@naccp.org. naccp.org. National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEC. 1313 L Street, NW, Suite 500. Washington, D.C. 20005-4110. 800-424-2460. naec.org. National Association of Social Workers, NASW. 750 1st Street, NE, Suite 800. Washington, District of Columbia 20002-8011. 202-408-8600. socialworkers.org. Childcare business websites / childcare job websites / daycare job websites / nanny job websites. Try number 362.712 or HQ 778.5 at the library. bls.gov/oco/cg/cgs032.htm. naccp.org, National Association of Childcare Professionals. Childcare.gov. naccp.org/jobbank.cfm. Indeed.com/q-child-care-jobs.html. careerbuilder.com/jobs/keyword/childcare. care.com/child-care-jobs. nccic.acf.hhs.gov/topics/index.cfm, childcare as a business resources. 4ananyjob.com. a2n2online.child_care_job_openings.html. a2n2online.com/joblistings/child.care.job.openings.html. aap.org, Academy of Pediatrics. acacamps.org, Summer Camps. acf.dhhs.gov. agencycentral.co.uk/jobsites/domestic.htm. apa.org. Go to the Division of Child and Youth. opiranamerica.org, 800-727-2437. bls.gov/oco/ocos170.htm, childcare worker. business.sugarbuzzkids.com. care.com. nannygigs.com. nannygigs.net. nannyjobs.ca. aupairs.co.uk. aupairjobs.ca. care.com, babysitting, nanny, childcare, tutoring, pet care and senior care jobs. care.com, a site for those seeking employment, or employees, in tutoring and /or child, elderly. carecareers.net. careerbuilder.com. careerbuilder.com/jobs/category/education/preschool. nrc.uchsc.edu/stepping stones to use for caring for children. childcareaware.org/en/child_care_101/types_of_care, types of care. nncc.org/states/stateindex.html, child care information by state. wdcrobc/OLP01.ed.gov/program/rod/category_cd:/cd SCL, Childcare Licensing Office, US. Gov. nrc.uchsc.edu/states/states.htm, childcare licensure regulations for states. childcareaware.org/en/parent_information/licensing, childcare state licensing information. nrc.uchsc.edu/regulators.htm, childcare program performance standards. causanet.org/reference/major-child-welfare-laws.htm, child welfare laws. Resources for childcaring.org. cyberstartpa.info, Pennsylvania Child Daycare Regulations. childcareaware.org/en/tools/glossary, childcare glossary. careerexplorer.net/degree-programs/child-care.asp. carefinderindiana.org/carefinder, Indiana. careguide.com. child.care.jobs.topusajob.com. childcare.gov/x-html/links/g_3/t_22.html, starting and operating a childcare business. childcare.net. childcare.org/business. childcarebusynessathome.com. childcarecareers.gov.uk. childcaredirect.com/childcare_listings.htm, childcare centers, Montessori, and private schools for sale listing. childcare-directory.com. childworks.co.uk/jobmkt. cocokids.org, the Contra Costa Child Care Council, Contra Costa County, California. Daycare.com, list of thousands of daycare centers by state. daycarecenters.com. degrees-online.us, online childcare degrees. degreex.com, get trained in the childcare business. ehow.com/how_2101517_start-home-daycare-center.html. employee-selections.com/resume/childcare-job-openings.html. employmentguide.com/child_care_jobs. enannysource.com. enannysource.com. entrepreneur.com/article/41422, how to offer child care services. findjobs.41930.com/job search/child.care.job.openings.html. franchisegator.com/industries/children's-franchises/preschool-and-day-care. hayes.com/earlyyears/nursery-world.aspx. ilchildcare.org, Illinois Network of Child Care Resource and Referral Agencies. iloviaminanny.com. indeed.com/q-daycare-center-jobs.html. iseek.org/sv/13000.jsp?id=100270. jobconnect.com/job_seeker/child_and_elder_care.htm. jobcouncil.org/page.asp?mark navid=163. jobonline.beyondhost.com/job_search/child_care_job_openings.html. jobs.monster.com/v-education-q-preschool-teacher-jobs.aspx. jobs.naccp.org, National Child Care Jobs. jobser.com. jobster.com/find/us/jobs/in/for/preschool. khake.com/page15.html. naccrra.org/careers. nanny.org. nanny.org, Nanny Association. nannypro.com. nccic.org, National Child Care Info Center. nccic.org/links.html. newhorizonchildcare.com/careers/careers.html. nlm.nih.gov/medlineplus/childdaycare.html, National Association of Child Care Resources and Referral. self-counsel.com, book about starting a home daycare business. nurseryjobsonly.com. nurseryworldjobs.co.uk 2jobs4jobs.com /part-time-jobs/child-care-job-openings.html. online.onetcenter.org. onadaycare.com. penfoster.edu/daycare. penfostercourses.com, child care job training. penfostercourses.com, daycare career training. rainbowacademy.net, Rainbow Academy Child Care Center, Carroll Stream, Illinois. rasmussen.edu/programs/child-care-certificate.asp. readchildcare.org, Child Care Resources of King County, Washington. resources.courseadvisor.com/career-training/child-care-specialist. sanjosejobcorps.org/child_care.htm. sba.gov/community/blogs/small-business-matters/starting-child-care-business-g. Government tools. under5s.co.uk. universityoufphoenix-info.com, Child Care Degree Programs and Career Training at University of Phoenix Online. ywcadallas.org. Childcare Law Center. 22, 2nd St. 5th FL. SF California 94105. 415-495-5498. Fax, 415-495-6734. Information about the legal aspects of child care. Monday Morning America. 276 Oak Ridge Road, Bridgewater, New Jersey 08807. 800-335-4 Mom. Daycare Provider Information. National Academy of Nannies. 1681 South Dayton St. Denver, Colorado 80231. 800-222 Nanny. National Association for Child Care. Resource and Referral Agencies. 1319 F St. N.W. Number 606. Washington, D.C. 20006. 800-570-4543. 202-393-5501. NACCRRA.com. NACCRRA.org. NACCRRA.net. Check with your local state social service to find out if someone who's running a daycare out of their homes is licensed, and call this organization. National Association for the Education of Young Children. 1509 16th St. Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20036-1426. 800-424-2460. 202-232-8777. NAEC.org. Accrediting Organization for Daycare Centers. Daycare centers are licensed by the state but rarely inspected. NAEC can provide you with a list of high-quality daycare centers in your area. Free booklet, Finding the Best Care for Your Infant. National Association for Family Child Care. 1331 Pennsylvania Avenue, NW. Number 348. Washington, D.C. 20004. 800-359-3817. NAFCC.org. National Group of Daycare Providers and Advocates. National Association for Family Daycare. 815 15th St. Northwest. Number 928. Washington, D.C. 20005. 800-359-3817. 202-347-3356. National Association for Sick Child Daycare. 15735 La Honda Court, Morgan Hill, California 95037. 408-779-4753. Non-profit organization which strives to establish quality sick child care programs nationwide. National Association for Sick Child Daycare Centers. 10950 3 Chopped Road, Richmond, Virginia 23233. 804-747-0100. Fax, 804-740-0893. National Center for the Early Childhood Workforce. 737 15th St. Northwest. Number 1307. Washington, D.C. 20005. 202-737-7700. National Child Care Association. 800-543-7161. National Child Care Information Center. 243 Church St. Northwest, 2nd FL. Vienna, Virginia 22180. 800-616-2242. Fax, 800-716-2242. nccic.org. National Child Daycare Association. 1501 Benning Road, NE. Washington, D.C. 20003. 202-397-3800. Save the Children Child Care Support Center. 1447 Peachtree St. Northeast. Number 700. Atlanta, Georgia 30309. 404-885-1578. Ask for list of publications. Child Development Specialist Career. cs.unl.edu/cyaf/undergrad/development.html. child.development.specialist.jobs.com. resources.courseadvisor.com/career-training/child-care-specialist. opm.state.ok.us/jfd/x-specs/x32.htm. nbcda.org, Black Child Development. nccanad.org, 800-543-7161, National Childcare Association. Childcare franchises. Lots of childcare businesses are franchised, so if you want to buy a childcare franchise, just check out some franchise list websites. businessesfor-sale.com/childcare-recruitment-franchise-for-sale.aspx. businessnation.com/franchises/kid-child-related-franchises/childcare-franchises. childcareinurome.com. childfranchiseexperts.com. franchiseadvantage.com. franchisegator.com/preschool_franchise.html. franchisemarketplace.com. franchiseopportunities.com. franchiseworks.com. homechildcarefranchises.com. mondaym.com. thechildcarecompany.co.uk/franchise.htm. the-franchise-investigator.com. At Home Professions. 800-359-3455. Training Course. A Friend in the Family Franchise. 10825 Stroop Road, Roswell, Georgia 30075. 404-643-3000. HomeWatch Franchise. 2865 South Colorado Boulevard, Denver, Colorado 80222. 800-777-9770. We Watch Franchise. 105 Main St. Unionville, on L3R2G1. 905-479-4274. Windflower Institute. 815 North Nevada Avenue, Colorado Springs, Colorado 80903. 719-520-1614. Training Course. Chapter 2. Childcare Job Guide. Childcare Licenses. childlife.org/certification, Certified Child Life Specialist CCLS. How to babysit. ci.phoenix.az.us/police/babysit.html, babysitting tips. Teaching aid/teaching assistant job websites. Teacher aides handle routine activities to give teachers more time for teaching. They help and supervise students in the classroom, cafeteria, or school yard. They record grades, set up equipment, or help prepare materials for instruction. Aides' responsibilities vary greatly by school district. In some, aides help with the instruction of children under the supervision and guidance of teachers. They work with students individually or in small groups, listen to students read, help them find information for reports, and watch them demonstrate a skill. Sometimes, aides take charge of special projects and prepare equipment or exhibits for a science demonstration, for example. In other districts, teacher aides handle routine non-teaching tasks. They grade tests and papers, check homework, and keep health and attendance records. Secretarial duties such as typing, filing, and duplicating materials for the teacher's use may be part of the aide's job. Educational requirements for teacher aides range from less than a high school diploma to some college training. Districts that give aides teaching responsibilities usually require more training than those which assign them clerical or monitor duties. Teacher aides generally receive on-the-job training. However, a number of two-year and community colleges offer associate degree programs that prepare graduates to work as teacher aides. Some states have established certification and training requirements for general teacher aides. To qualify, an individual may need a high school diploma or general equivalency degree, GED, or even some college training. Kansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Wisconsin grant permits for paraprofessionals, as some aides are called, in the field of special education. More paraprofessionals are being employed to provide students with the personal instruction and remedial education they need. Most students greatly benefit from additional attention, individual instruction, and positive feedback. State departments of education can provide details about employment requirements. aft.org/psrp, American Federation of Teachers, Paraprofessional, and School-Related Personnel, Teacher Assistants. nrcpara.org, Paraprofessionals in Education. tcc.edu/academics/ot/pst/earlychild.htm, the Educational Support Specialist Career Studies leads to positions as a teacher assistant in public and private schools. nrcpara.org, nrcpara.org, information on a career as a teacher assistant. bls.gov, bls.gov, training qualifications and advancement to become a teacher assistant. wetfeet.com, wetfeet.com, teacher assistant to help people and strengthen one's community. tsids.utk.edu, tsids.utk.edu, nursery school attendants assist teachers in nursery school programs. kiwicollege.org, kiwicollege.org, early childhood education services. nrcpara.org, nrcpara.org, information on a career as a teacher assistant. wetfeet.com, wetfeet.com, teacher assistant to help people and strengthen one's community. tsids.utk.edu, tsids.utk.edu, nursery school attendants assist teachers in nursery school programs. urbanexd.uiuc.edu, urbanexd.uiuc.edu, starting a babysitting business. American Federation of Teachers. Paraprofessionals and School-Related Personnel Division. 555 New Jersey Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. 20001. aft.org/psrp. National Education Association. 1201 16th St. Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20036. 202-833-4000. NEA.org. National Resource Center for Paraprofessionals. 6526 Old Main Hill, Utah State University, Logan, Utah 84322. nrcpara.org. Domestic Services Recruiter/Staffing Service websites. 4homehelp.com, Domestic Staffing Resources, jobs available for nanny, housekeeper, maid, elder care companion. Butlersguild.com, International Guild of Professional Butlers, promotes the interests reputation of the butling profession. Caregiversoncall.com, Caregivers on Call, provides in-home child babysitting companion care on short notice. CassFordManagement.com, Cass Ford Management, dedicated to helping clients manage their estates. DistinguishedDomestics.com, Distinguished Domestic Services, an executive-level international domestic employment agency representing estate managers, house managers, personal assistants, chefs, chauffeurs. Security. DPNOnline.com, Domestic Placement Network, agency for domestic staffing including personal assistants, chefs, chauffeurs, estate managers, butlers in the USA. GADreamNannies.com, Georgia's Dream Nannies, Inc. Greycoatlumleys.co.uk, Greycoat Lumleys, domestic recruitment consultants for housekeepers, butlers, nannies, chauffeurs, other household staff. HamptonDomestics.com, Hampton Domestics, domestic placement agency primarily serving New York, Palm Beach, the Hamptons, but also occasionally placing worldwide. HandymanWeb.com, Handyman Web, a meeting point for individuals who want to offer their services others that need to have a job done. PreciseHome.com, Precise Home Management, listings of qualified butlers, chefs, estate managers, housekeepers, cooks, valets. RegalDomesticsinc.com, Regal Domestics Incorporated, nationwide domestic staff placement service. RobinKellner.com, Robin Kellner Agency, household staffing including butlers, estate managers, chefs, housekeepers, nannies, social secretaries, gardeners. SilVuPlateAgency.com, SILVuPlate, specializes in domestic help, including nannies, baby nurses, personal assistants, chefs. Sitters.com, Sitters.com, placement service for babysitters, pet sitters, tutors, senior assistants, housekeepers. Childcare job websites. 2care2teach4kids.com, 2care2teach4kids.com, licensed family childcare information about daycare program, preschool program, policies, contract, other ideas to share with providers, parents. BabysitterExchange.com, Babysitter Exchange, a service that lets users trade babysitting with parents known, trusted. careferkids.com.au/search/default.asp, care for kids, search for childcare in Australia by postcode, region, state, or name. child2000.org, Soho Centre, addresses children's literacy, quality child care, school readiness, school success, as well as providing health, nutrition, safety resources. ChildcareAware.org, Childcare Aware, search facility for locating childcare by zip code, other options. ConferenceChildcare.com, corporate kids events, Inc., offering childcare, babysitting services, entertainment during conferences, special events. CreamDeLaCream.com, Cream de la Cream, child care centers, preschools nationwide with summer camp after-school programs. Dashinet.com/childcare, childcare.inet, featuring at least one childcare company from each city listed where they are located. DesertDaycares.com, Desert Daycares, childcare directory for parents in the high desert area in California. ForKidsSakicc.com, for kids' sake, improving the quality of childcare by providing providers with useful information. Montessori.com, Montessori Unlimited, offers childcare for all ages including school-age children. nncc.org/homepage.html, National Network for Child Care. NNCC unites the expertise of many of the nation's leading universities through the outreach system of cooperative extension. PhoneABabysitter.com, PhoneABabysitter.com, service connecting parents with babysitters in their area. ProvidersFirst.com, Providers First, founded in 1996 as an organization created to support worldwide recognition of child care providers, the valuable work they perform. SitterCity.com, SitterCity.com, offers a database of babysitters throughout the United States, listing qualifications, skills, ratings from parents. SitterTime.com, SitterTime, a way for parents, their babysitters in the United States to arrange babysitting dates, by using the site. state.il.us/dcfs/daycare/index.html, Child Care Choices. The Department of Children Family Services of Illinois provides information to help parents make a child care choice that is best for family. Child care professionals/trade associations. Childlife.org/membership Association of Child Life Professionals, ACLP, advances the field of child life by fostering research and promoting the efficacy of child life practice. EarlyLearningLeaders.org, Association for Early Learning Leaders, is a nonprofit organization committed to excellence by promoting leadership development and enhancing program quality. NAFCC.org, National Association for Family Child Care, NAFC, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting quality child care by strengthening the profession of family child care. Chapter 3. Domestic job websites at dmoz-odp.org. Household employment websites at dmoz-odp.org/business/accounting/household_employment. 4nannytaxes.com, Nanny Taxes, offers payroll and tax services to families employing nannies and other domestic workers. Breedlove.com, Breedlove Online, provider of nanny tax and payroll services for household employers. nannypaye.co.uk, Nanny Paye, nanny payroll service for parents. Domestic services at dmoz-odp.org/business/business_services/domestic_services. 4homehelp.com, domestic staffing resources, jobs available for nanny, housekeeper, maid, elder care companion. Butlersguild.com, International Guild of Professional Butlers, promotes the interests and reputation of the butling profession. Caregiversoncall.com, Caregivers on Call, provides in-home child babysitting and companion care on short notice. CassAffordManagement.com, Cass Ford Management, dedicated to helping clients manage their estates. DistinguishedDomestics.com, Distinguished Domestic Services, an executive-level international domestic employment agency representing estate managers, house managers, personal assistants, chefs, chauffeurs, and security. DPNOnline.com, Domestic Placement Network, agency for domestic staffing including personal assistants, chefs, chauffeurs, estate managers, and butlers in the USA. GADreamNannies.com, Georgia's Dream Nannies, Inc., a full-service nanny, housekeeper, and household manager placement agency. Greycoatlumleys.co.uk, Greycoat Lumleys, domestic recruitment consultants for housekeepers, butlers, nannies, chauffeurs, and other household staff. HamptonDomestics.com, Hampton Domestics, domestic placement agency primarily serving New York, Palm Beach, and the Hamptons, but also occasionally placing worldwide. HandymanWeb.com, Handyman Web, a meeting point for individuals who want to offer their services and others that need to have a job done. PreciseHome.com, Precise Home Management, listings of qualified butlers, chefs, estate managers, housekeepers, cooks and valets. RegalDomesticsinc.com, Regal Domestics Incorporated, nationwide domestic staff placement service. RobinKellner.com, Robin Kellner Agency, household staffing including butlers, estate managers, chefs, housekeepers, nannies, social secretaries, and gardeners. SilVuplateAgency.com, SILVuplate, specializes in domestic help, including nannies, baby nurses, personal assistants, and chefs. Los Angeles, California. Sitters.com, Sitters.com, placement service for babysitters, pet sitters, tutors, senior assistants and housekeepers. Babysitting websites at dmoz-odp.org/kids_and_teens/teen_life/babysitting. abcteach.com/directories/fun-activities-11-2-1, abc babysit. extension.illinois.edu/babysitting, a guide to the business of babysitting. kidshealth.org/en/teens/babysit.html, babysitting basics.